So here we are. This is what I left with yesterday. We've got a pretty decent starting area and the beginnings of a main room in here. So this time what I think I'm going to do is try to develop the area up here, and we'll just see where that takes us. I have a vague idea of something to do. I thought at first that I might do an outdoor area, but I later thought that that probably wouldn't fit in with the factory theme. So we're going to continue with the indoors. First thing I'm going to do is check my dimensions, because this project has a limit of 3072 on each side. So I'm just going to draw some sectors to box myself in. It looks like I haven't hit that limit, and I've actually quite neatly got into it. I've got a bit more room over on this side, and definitely a lot more room up here, so we're not going to run out of room with this map idea. But I'm just going to put these here, so I have the borders, and I'm always going to be aware of them. Okay then, what I'd like to do here is give the player a bit of a surprise and a bit of a point of no return. So I'm going to make this a step. Well, maybe surprise isn't the best word for this, because the player knows what they're getting into if they step onto something with this texture. Yeah, let's narrow that down a bit. And obviously, this lift is going to drop into the floor when they get there. Let's put a medium-sized room over here, and we'll make it less square as we go. Alright, so this has to be at least that much further down. We are going to use a different ceiling height over here, though, because eventually I want this to go back to our room up here. So we'll see where the route takes us, but the idea I have just now is to make this room a multi-level room, where the player will have to traverse it down here first, and then later on up the other way. So we're going to put the support 2 on that for the left. We're going to say when the player walks once, floor, or maybe platform. No, lift. We can lower weight raise. We can light change. No, let's go with the floor. Now this is this is the trouble with the initial Doom format, because you've got to hope that John Carmack or Romero programmed in the exact combination of triggers and switches that you want. Maybe I just want a platform. Let's see what I can do with walking 1. Because ideally, I don't want it to be... I don't want the player to have a chance to change their mind, really. But I don't think anything will be fast enough to fulfill that. Floor start with him now, floor raise. Let's W1 floor lower to 8 above highest floor, and we'll just see what happens. It's going to be tag 6. Alright. So, for here, let's get another flat, another base type flat. And I want this to look fairly basement-y. Maybe that would be a good one. Oh, one of the other instructions I got from the topic after showing off this video was use more of the metal textures and use more Sean textures. So I've always felt that the metal textures are rather boring, which is why I kind of try to avoid them, but I'll see what I can do with that, and I'll see if I can incorporate them somehow and think up some new ways in which to use them. Right, we've got some crates here. We need a bit more decoration as well. Sometimes decoration is just a box away. Maybe that one instead. Or does that? I don't think that really stands out. Neither of them do really. Something you can do though is you can twist this around now, and it'll still maintain its 64 by 64 size. All right. It's not great, but it's something. Don't want to put too many crates into this because, like I mentioned before, crates are regarded as kind of generic and filler game design. But we're in a factory, so we're going to have a couple. Excuse me for just a moment while I get distracted. This might actually could be a good place to use those metal textures. Let's add some vertices so we can use different ones. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? And those can be the border on this side. Oh, that looks really good. I do like that. Let's do the same thing over here, just maybe some of the lights. That's pretty good. Alright, and this that I completely wasn't sure about. That's definitely going to be Sean. Probably should do it at the top as well, if I'm being honest. That much? Maybe that much. No, actually, I don't want to change the beams. Just want to change the top of this pillar. All right, upper unbound, unbound. What am I talking about? Unpegged. All right. It could be pretty good. All right. Back over here now. We've got to think of something to do in this room, and I think I just want a big pit of nukage. First of all, let us. Do you know what? Let's put a platform up here, but no way to get to it. We're going to have to open up a route to this platform later on. And I'm thinking maybe we don't want a door here after all. Because if we have a door here and a door here, it's going to break up the gameplay a bit too much. All right, and my mistake in measuring that has given the room an interesting shape already. So I'm not going to correct that. Now, I'm a bit wary of this room being so large. Tall is what I mean to say. So what I might do is make this room have some stairs in it as well. Maybe. We'll see. Could be good. And you, and you, and you. That's a bit better. That looks a bit less absurd. So, okay, so down here, I'd like a tunnel to be down there. And there's going to be an offset here. Maybe like that. So there's a drain. And then we're going to flood the rest of the place. I might change my mind about this later. But for now, we're going to see what happens. There we go. We've got a ready-made nuke edge. Put those up a bit. There we go. Let's extend that around. Okay. Not looking bad so far. So let's see, I've got 64, 16. We can even use some metal textures here. Will Sean work here? Oh, maybe. Alright. So let's balance this with a big radioactive fall over here as well. What on earth am I doing? Always take a moment to think. That'll be the indent, and this will be the top of it. So we're going to use those three sectors. That's going to be the texture of the fall, and it's going to be coming out of this mysterious dark pipe. Okay. That looks pretty decent, I think. And around nukage, I like to use the slab textures. Okay. What's that doing there? Let's align all of these, and then let's find a place where they look good. Things have looked worse than that, and we'll texture the rest a bit later. My idea for this encounter is very mean indeed, actually. I'm going to put a couple of chain gunners here, so they can hit you where you least expect it. Oh, while I remember, I wanted to have a couple of demons come out of this doorway when you open it. Maybe 3? Yeah, party time. Same goes for here. We want a couple of demons, maybe even a spectre. down here, and these two can be joined, but we do want to make this room a bit more interesting as well. I think that the eventual goal of this room, actually, that's level with that, and I don't really want that. There. The eventual goal of this room will be to, obviously, to reach this platform, but the player's going to have to do it by raising certain platforms within this room. And you know, their first go round of this room will be on the lower level, and eventually they'll find their way up and they can raise platforms. So, first platform is going to be here. Let me just redo my grid. 96, 24, okay. And the reason for that is so that I can use the support 2 and metal textures. Where's this? This is floor 48, and that is floor 56, 48. Okay. Let's have a more grey-looking floor. Not you. Do I want to use you again? I probably do. Okay. And here, of course, we can have some imps ready to catch you as you come down. And maybe if I'm feeling particularly nasty, maybe I'll put a cacodemon up here as well. Alright. That one can ambush them. Now, I want to give the player an advantage if they spot a secret, so I'm going to make this little tunnel I made before. I'm going to make this metal. Let's put a support 3 on that. And do I have an equivalent there? I don't. Okay, so let's make this out of metal 2. Measure what I'm doing. 96, yeah, that'll do. And I'm going to use the international code for secret area. And that code is to put a... Let me brighten this up a bit. That code is going to be to put metal 3 texture on. Okay. That looks okay. So, what's going to happen here is I've done it wrong. Sorry. What's going to happen here is this side is going to let the player down. That's going to be... Hang on a minute. Finally, okay. This is going to let the player through. And there's going to be a shaft down here, which leads the player to this underground area. I'm going to give them a biosuit that they can't miss. It's not called a biosuit, is it? It's called a rad suit. And that will give them... do I want to give them a bit of cover from the chain gunners as well? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. We'll see. But it will at least give them the chance to take those out with less danger to themselves. I'll reward them with a medikit as well. Maybe 2. We'll see how it pans out. This is a secret area. Oh, but I can't have a secret area that also harms you. Okay. That is our secret area. Alright. Special 9. Secret. These ones, even the ones you can't reach, are going to be harmful. And usually the green stuff damages you -2 or 5% health. So that's what we're going for. Might use some of that earlier in the map as well. We will see what takes our fancy. Okay. I think what I'm going to do here is add a bit of contrast by having some light 5s. And then pulling this back and I'll decide what to do with that later, but I want to border this with light 5. Good, and I've made that one a bit too long. How is that possible? That's 16. Alright, I'm sorry, my eyes are playing tricks on me. And we're going to do the same kind of trickery that we did with the lights up in the factory room above, making them very stark, cutting through the darkness. What's that brightness? 176, 144, maybe 144 will do. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. And we're going to put something else down there, obviously, and give the player a way out once they've got in. Maybe it'll lead them round to a place where they would have had to get to, but it gives them a much safer route to do it. So if I were to add a notch here, let's make it like that. Maybe there's a platform slightly set in. Platform's 128 wide and 64. Perhaps there's a platform that they need to bring down. Phone's going. Can't stop now, I'm designing a factory. Oh, my wife is texting me from upstairs saying that there might be furries on RuPaul's Drag Race, so I should come and see. But that would involve having to see RuPaul's Drag Race, so I'm not really sure of this deal. Let's put a switch down here, maybe? We want to make this switch a bit more highlighted than the others. So we don't want it to just blend into the wall. So I'm looking for a switch with a bright texture, and SG1 Com is perfect. Might be a little narrow. Might not look very comfortable. We will adjust this as we go. Alright. And that, of course, is Sector 7, which is tagged with the switch 7, and it does S, repeated, lift, lower weight raise. Alright, and that will get us into another corridor. Up here. And the secret area will also get us into that corridor. Something like that. Again, I'm letting my sloppiness in putting the vertexes down go, because I want to just use them as irregularly shaped rooms. Let's upper unpeg all of these so they can align correctly. This really isn't looking bad at all. Okay. So the player needs to get to here first. No, I've kind of worked myself into a corner, because the player needs to get to here first, but where are they going to get to? Maybe they're going to come out here a bit further over, and then the next switch is where, I wonder? We're going to have to see. Just remembered I never put the actual action onto this secret door, so we're going to do that now. We're going to tag 8. We're going to make this one tag 8 as well. What action is door 1s? No, I pulled the floor upwards, so this is going to be switch 1s, floor, lower to lowest floor. And I like doing inverted doors for switches, for secrets, because that means you don't have to fiddle about with the flags on the wall. It's as simple as that. Trying to think what I can do with this now that I've kind of made a kink here that I don't want. Oh yeah, and I'm going to steal something that somebody mentioned in my YouTube comments, that they didn't know that Hell had such strict accessibility requirements, and that is, you keep on learning things about Doom every day, and that is that a monster has to have its width in steps before it will be encouraged to go up them. So that will work, but my previous steps would not. I might even change this to a Baron, even though I don't usually I usually discourage people from using them. We'll see. And this weird little bit here, this can be metal as well. Does it fit? Not quite. Does it fit in a way that anyone will notice? No. Alright. Just flying around looking for some inspiration. I do want this. Maybe just here, actually. You see, I would have made this neat and done the ceiling door where I wanted to, rather than where the edge of the sector happened to be. But you can make so much more interesting environments by just having irregular floor and ceiling going up and down. All right. I think the same goes for here. Rather than having that big wall, I'm going to make this, break it up a bit. We'll see. That corner looks a bit weird. So I'm going to reclaim that bit. Decent enough for now. I might rework the ceilings a bit. But we've got a pretty decent looking room now. Right, what I really wanted to do with all that was have a cover on this. Right. Step 2. Now this is another thing that I forgot about Vanilla Doom, that you can't realign floors. They're fixed and they're part of the coordinates of the world. So if I were to do step 1, how far off am I? I'm not very far off. And we've got the room to do it, so I'm just going to move this that way. Yeah, there we go. And that also gives me a bit more room to widen this switch up a bit. So it's 48. And that gives a bit more of a comfortable leeway for the switch. Alright. What now? Let's start doing something with this corridor here. I'm feeling that this is going to be a stairway. Maybe it's just going to be a corridor, I'm not sure yet. Oh, I have not counted this correctly. There we go. Okay. So for this one... Oh, hello, Amoeba down there. Yeah, we're going to make this a shallow staircase here. Is that enough? We've got to... Yeah, we've got to 40 and this is 48. Alright, so we're going to put another little stair over here. So eventually what's going to happen is we're going to come round here. Is that strafe jumpable? Have I made a huge mistake? How many units is that? 136? I don't think that's strafe jumpable. It might be SR50able. Let's have a look. We haven't started up Doom during this yet. And as you can see, that didn't work. But we've got our failsafe. We can pull this down. We can get our biosuit. And let's just ID clip a little bit over here. Oh, off camera, I also changed... Oh, I haven't put the step texture on there. Off camera, I also changed the MIDI for this level. Oh yeah, that's really easily strafe jumpable. Might have to have an alternative plan here. Yeah, I changed the MIDI to one of the ones I've written for Ascent of Titan, and then maybe I'll submit this to the project as well. Or maybe I'll just let the project manager decide. Alright, so here's an idea. Maybe I was going to say maybe we raise this but now I've got to think about how to lower it. There might be. Is there an action lower by 24? Yeah, W1 floor raise by 24, changes texture. It's all so precise. Stairs raise by 16, ceiling lower, floor raised by 8. Yeah, there's floor raised, but there's no floor lower by 32. You can, of course, get around it by linking the sector to another sector out of the out of the side of the map, so that you have a reference point and you can lower it to where you want. But I don't really want to rely on those tricks here, and sort of deal with the spirit of looking like the original levels. Speaking of which, all of these are far too square for the original levels, so I'll have to do a bit of work on unsquaring these. For now, though, let's just block out some more stuff. I need a way of getting players from the secret bit here up to this part here instead, and I think this is a good place to. Oh, this is all tag 7. I was afraid of that. None of that, thanks. Right, so. What am I thinking of doing here? Okay, yeah. Kind of makes sense. Let's get rid of this. Do it like that instead. I haven't messed up the ceilings and stuff. We're going to extend this. Make this point off in another direction. Okay. And in here, we're going to make this the lift up from the secret area. We'll work on detailing that and exactly what it's going to do. Let's see. Let's put some more lights there and then an alcove for a switch. And the presence of those lights and the switch will, of course, indicate to the player that it's possible to get down here. But if they haven't already spotted the metal wall with the lightning bolt symbol, then they're never going to get the secret anyway. Oh, I can't believe that worked out so well. That is exactly 128. All right. Okay, starting tagging again. And you can S repeated, lift, lower weight raise. Let's do it fast, so that they can get out of there quicker. Not really sure what I'm doing here. Not sure if that looks good or just kind of rubbish, but we'll see. I'll make this glow a bit as well. Oh no, I can't because it's damaging. Let's make this not damaging them, because I don't think the player's going to notice. They're not going to be able to get into this sector, so light glows. Alright, what was wrong with this bit? W1 floor lower to 8 above highest floor. Is it because it's already at a floor? Don't ask me. W1 floor lower to the lowest floor. Alright. Now, I think it is high time that the player got a super shotgun about here, but I'm not sure of the context of the other maps around it. Will the player already have a super shotgun, or will they be? Will they only have had it in a secret? I'll need to know a bit more to balance that. Still thinking about what I can do with this pillar. Move it over a bit here, and maybe that. Remember how surprisingly fast Doom Guy is. He's really eager to rip and tear those demons. I'll try that. My aim here is that eventually you'll come around this corridor and you'll have another platform raised here. So I'm going to need a sector for that. Let's do that just now. And this will go up, and you've got the bridge. And then we'll have another platform that raises as well. That can just be metal. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Thinking about this, how can I... Yeah, I think I'm going to have another area up here that looks out onto these stairs. Let's say about there. Oh, and we've got a flood fill. Thanks to Ultimate Doom Builder's a very earnest attempt to be helpful. Alright. What that's going to do is have the switch that raises this. So we want the switch to be in roughly the field of view of the platform that rises. Thinking about this. I'm wondering if... No, I could put this back a bit. All this back a bit. And then I'd have a door there. I've definitely got room to move my borders a bit if I need to. I'll do that. Right. Yeah, let's put a color-coded door in here. And that we could even now do something up here with the top end of the waterfall. I'll block this out first. So I want something to happen here. All right. Door track, lower unpegged. Door stop. Realign. Here's a door. It's going to be big. Actually, I'm wondering if I should use the UAC door. Because even though I said this was quite cruelly that this was the worst door, and I maintain that opinion, I've kind of grown attached to it in this level. All right, this is the alley door. And on the other side of the yellow door is going to be a space with some stairs and some obstacles and some other things that are going to happen. But we're going to leave that for now. What we also want to do is carve out some space for the stairs. Let's see if that looks any. No, not bad. Okay. Definitely going to change some of these ceiling heights as well, somewhere down the line. Let's make this door a bit brighter than the rest. That's good. So then you go over here. Maybe there's some stairs up here, maybe somewhere else. We'll just make it accessible for now. And that is where the switch is going to be to raise the platform. We'll see how that works. Okay, so there's something strange about this switch action as well. We're going to tag the sector 10, and we're going to make this switch 1 floor raise by what? Raise to next higher floor changes texture. And what changes texture does is not what you think. It's you would think it would change texture to the next higher floor that it selected, but it doesn't. What it does do is it changes the texture to the floor texture in front of the switch. Fortunately, that is the floor texture that I want, so that's great. I am going to have to rework this just a little to make it look like it's intentional. Oh yeah, that'll do. And I believe that inherent to that action is that it discards any sector specials on it. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe it copies the sector specials from the one in front of the switch. I just don't know. Alright. So that means we're gated over here by the yellow key. And I could have just used the same style over here. That's not going to be tag 10 though, that's going to be a different tag that I use later. So that this goes up, and you can easily step onto there, and there's enough room to... Yes, that's a 48, so there's enough room to escape around the side if you need to. Good, alright. Alright, so I've decided I'm going to make this part a bit more of an open room that's more like a computer room than just a corridor. So let's... should I drag it all the way out to there? Maybe. Alright, here's what's going to happen. We've got... I think all of these can be joined. And that is going to be our edge of the computer room. So we're going to have a low... How low is that actually? That's only 64, that's not very much. Let's put it at a nice 96. So we're going to take some inspiration from E1M1 here and have the computer consoles hanging down from the ceiling. One, two, three, four. 1, 2. Will comp tool work here? Oh wow, it will. I'm not used to it being that well behaved. Perfect, okay. And we're going to, of course, put some lights on the underside. 1 over, so they're perfectly aligned. Okay. Of course, that doesn't make things very interesting unless the floor has interesting things on it as well. So we're going to make a T-shaped bank of computers. Maybe bring this in just a little. Doesn't like being that length. 224 maybe? No, that's worse. The idea here is to have this bank in the middle, and then having maybe some stairs going up and around it. Yeah. Try that again. Maybe something like that. And this is another place where I'm being symmetrical, but I'm going to try to then offset that symmetry later. One of the things you can do actually is to make up for symmetry in a room, you can make the monsters asymmetrical. And that's something that was a bit of a revelation to me when I realized it. Let's put a big step 4 on those, and then we'll sort out what this is meant to be later. What do you suppose this is? Maybe. Maybe it's just Sean. Alright. miscellaneous computery things going on here. Maybe comp span would be better, because it doesn't look quite so bad when it's misaligned. Have I not got this right again? Yeah. That's good. That is not. And that can be Seal 5.1. So the player comes up here, and they're going to be faced with Cacodemon in the center. There are going to be some shotgunners, which are called sergeants, around this side. And there's going to be a Hell Knight here. And maybe some demon over here. And all of these are set to ambush. Mostly because I forgot to set the flag off when I set ambush players. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Want to have the player blocked by something here as well, so maybe another Hell Knight. Trying to use the higher tier monsters more often, because usually I just throw imps in everywhere. I'm trying to be a bit different. Okay then. One of the other things you can do, of course, is just give your room a little border. Usually the blue carpet is very nice. It just goes really well with the computers. I was just trying to do something different other than the normal blue floor, just to see what it looked like. Yeah, maybe that might be nice. Let's compare it with flat 14. You know I'm going to keep flat 14. I've got to have flat 14. Alright, and let's put a computer bank round here for some decoration. Above the step, 1, 2, 3, 4. Needs to be a bit further over here. Or maybe a little less far over here. You get the idea. Upper, 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 upper. And there we go. I'm going to change these middle ones. That's very well disguised. Okay. Make those a bit brighter. Maybe make them glow a bit. I'm really surprised by the how few sector actions there are in Vanilla Doom. It's really kind of disorienting. And I also need to lower this down a bit because I've lowered my carpet. Okay. You can also smack little alcoves into places wherever you want. That's pretty good. Let's do one more thing here, and then I'll stop for the day, I think. Just to get another of those little windows between parts of the level. You're going to be impassable. You're going to have BR Brinsmall 1 on one side, you can have Brinsmall 2 on the other. That would be a perfect place to put a shotgunner sniping. Maybe a chain. Am I feeling mean enough to make a chain gunner? Let's try a chain gun, and we can always change our minds if it doesn't work. I'm actually going to make this a window as well now, because otherwise it doesn't really look like a. It doesn't really look like it's this part separate from that one. More different floors, please. Yeah, you'll do. Okay. And then we've got a 64, or just about. We've got just about a 64 wide window. It's not the Olympics, it'll be fine. 63, okay. That's probably a bit better. Control Shift C, Control Shift V. Just take them all. That copies sector properties. Sorry, line def properties, not sector properties. The difference is very important. Alright, and now our chain gunner's got a little house that he can defend himself with. Alright, needs some texture work, but it's coming together. And, so this should be a corridor. Maybe like that. Going to need to have a ceiling there, thank you. Can I put this down here? Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Good, alright. Still to decide what room this is, but I think we've got a pretty competent looking environment here. I like that a lot. And we'll have to decide on the route later, so somehow you're supposed to get the yellow key from here. So this action's going to be door repeated, door yellow, open, wait, close. It's one of the great mysteries of Doom to me is why John Carmack is a genius, and why didn't he think of genericizing these? I understand that they were under a deadline, but you'd think at some point they would say, actually, having to add a new one every time we want to do something different is a bit awkward. Alright. Still got plenty of room over here to do something if we want. Ultimately, the goal of this section will be to get the yellow key, which raises that, and then maybe something happens here. Maybe you just need to cross this line or something and it'll raise that. but crossing this line unleashes a load of lost souls around the windows of the room. I think we've got a lot of potential there. Let's do this without enemies to finish off, and we can do a bit more playtesting tomorrow. Well, I instantly noticed that problem. Gonna have to change these stairs as well. And eventually, yeah, you open that, demons rush out. Oh no, Hell Knight's over there. And we've got our secret here. Alternatively, oh, I didn't put a texture on there, did I? Okay, ignore that behind me. Alright, so faff about here, get the yellow key. Oh, again, distinct lack of textures on the stairs. Don't know what's going to happen here. This is probably going to be a secret that you can go across here. We'll see. Alright, let's give the yellow card. And we've hit that switch. Oh yeah, I forgot I needed the textures in there. Great. We can walk over here, and then we get over there. Some terrible things happen, but we also raise the way back to there, and the way back to the first part of the level on the upper walkway. Alright, obvious texture issues aside, which I'll correct as I'm going here because I don't want to forget about them. Obvious texture issues aside, I think this is a pretty decent looking environment now. I need to do some retexturing, thinking about what I want this to look like. Have some gloomy metal textures around. And also to think about the other encounters through here and how we're going to incorporate those. And if they should loop back to other parts of the map as well, because I do love when that happens. Yeah, maybe this looks out over another room. But you've always got to be careful that you don't ruin the flow of your map when you have windows into other rooms, because you can pick off enemies too early. Alright then. That is day 2. Stay tuned for more.